And welcome to the Palm Bay Report. My name is Kevin Jeffrey, and I'm with our Brevard News Palm Bay correspondent, Ruth Kofold. And Ruth, there's a lot going on down in Palm Bay. It seems like there's a lot of excitement. And the first thing on the docket is this education issue with Turner Elementary School. So it seems like the Turner Elementary School held a Scholastic Book Fair last week with, what's the name of the company
It's
that's not
called
supposed to be there?
Scholastic Books.
Scholastic
Now,
Books.
we all grew up with Scholastic Book Fairs coming up,
Right.
and they were wonderful.
And you would think that that's a great thing, right?
Right.
This is,
Well, now they have LGBTQ, they have transgender selections you can go through.
and they pretty much lead into it as well, right?
They have doubled down and they are
They-
supporting stuff like that. They supported Black Lives Matter. You can go out to their website and see how they support Black Lives Matter, and they doubled down on the LGBTQIA plus selection of books. And I do believe that they also have transgender things as well.
So they had
Who's
backed
select
away.
from?
They were under pressure to back away from this, and then they got pushback from some of that group.
Yeah, I don't
And-
know. I've kind of stood back from that at one point in time because I did have this conversation with the superintendents of curriculum there at the school board or at the school system, and they said that they were going to really look into Scholastic to see what was happening. Now, I'm just going to tell you, I just saw the banner of the Scholastic Book Fair happening at Turner Elementary School. This is concerning to most people that see and know about the Scholastic books because since they've doubled down on their support of and being very they want to everything to be quote inclusion, DEI, CRT.
Well, they wanted to be because of the bottom line is they're making a lot of money off
Correct.
this, right?
I don't know. I don't know what their bottom line looks like, but at the end of the day, the superintendent really needs to vet them a little bit better.
Now, as far as the school board is concerned, they don't have any business with Scholastic itself, right?
Well, they hire
Brevard
them
County.
to come and do the school board, or not the school board themselves. The superintendent does all of of curriculum does this. The assistant superintendent of curriculum handles the book fairs. And they're the ones that make the decision about what company comes in and does book fairs. Now, I don't know the hierarchy of that with the schools themselves, but if I was an integrity principal at Turner Elementary, I wouldn't want any questionable company to be supplying any sort of books in my school.
Well, and this is a questionable company. From one of their press releases back several years ago, it says, for our annual Read with Pride campaign this year, we are bringing over a dozen authors, LGBTQIA plus books to virtual events, partnering with independent books stores across the country. And so this is Scholastic, which used to be a pretty reputable company.
Right.
And now they are engaging in dealing with Turner Elementary School in Palm Bay.
Yeah.
And
I
they
just
did.
drove
There's
by
a
the
fact
other
that they put on a
day.
book fair last
Yeah,
last week.
just last week there was a sign up on their fence that they were having a Scholastic Book Fair. And sometimes if you're anywhere near schools, you might see their truck running around.
So you're going to keep up on that and let
I'm
us know
going
what's
to
happening.
send a communication to the superintendent and find out what's really happening.
Okay, so then that brings us to the public safety and ensuring the safety of residents through effective law enforcement and emergency situation. What's going on with that?
Right now, they're talking about the red light cameras and at the schools.
That's a big deal,
That's a
right?
big deal with the cameras and everything. A lot of the citizens doesn't want to be surveillance. They don't want to be known as a surveillance tool.
Is it because they're speeding, or is it because is it which issue is which? I
Well,
mean, which
it's
is the-
probably both.
Okay.
We're talking about, yes, we don't want people speeding through the schools because some people who are allowed to get a license around here don't even know what the laws are.
Right.
That if you're on the opposite side of the road, you're supposed to stop for a
Correct.
school bus if they're stopped and all of their lights are on. Some people just drive right by, they're
Right.
not. They don't know that unless there's a physical median strip in between them, you're supposed to stop. So they don't know the laws.
But we talked about this story a couple of weeks ago. So the advocates say that it helps stop speeding,
Right.
but the statistics doesn't really support that.
No, because
Does
the
it?
software that's happening with this system is not performing as they thought it was going to do. Right now, the same system is happening in Georgia, a city in Georgia. So they're looking into what's happening in Georgia because they're issuing tickets where nothing happening. You know, that where I come from, where I was used to live in Virginia, they would just say if you ran the red light, we took a picture of the back of your car, you know, and that's it. And that's how it stopped. You know, there wasn't any video.
But see, and that's the
And see,
issue.
it's the video, I think, that a lot of the residents are having issue with.
Where does this stop? I mean, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. Are we moving toward a surveillance state?
Right.
This is where China is.
Yeah.
And they have cameras everywhere. Where does this stop?
Yeah.
So we understand the issue with the school zones and trying to
Trying
manage
to,
that.
you know, reduce the amount of, because people don't even stop in the pedestrian walk,
Right.
the crosswalk. You know, I sometimes, you know, you're wondering if the crossing guards are going to get hit.
Yeah.
Some of these people, you know, right through there.
So you could see
that's the original reason.
You can see the temptation to want to do that in order to manage that. But the point is where is this going to end?
Yeah, I don't think the testing of it, as an old computer programmer, I don't think they've tested it to the nth degree. They should not be issuing really tickets right now if the system is not proven.
And they've suspended that for right now,
Yeah,
right?
they have.
Because of the complaints.
Yeah.
Okay, that brings us to the infrastructure. What's happening with it? There's a lot of,
Same as infrastructure for the county.
okay.
I mean, their sewer, water, roads, everything is so old, they've not kept up with the growth. Yet, they've allowed all of these affordable housing buildings to be.
Affordable housing.
Yeah, no one can afford to live in those places unless you have a full-time job. There's no subsidy housing there, nothing's happening there, and they still keep approving stuff. And I'm like, wait, okay, so if you've ever traveled on Malabar Road between the hours of 7 and 9, you're going nowhere very quickly because it can take you almost an hour to
Wow.
go, like from like halfway through Malabar all the way to 95. If you need to get on 95, you better take the Parkway because it's not going to happen as fast because there's only a 2-lane road right there. So they've allowed this construction to happen for not only these affordable housing apartment buildings, they've allowed businesses to add more traffic to like Malabar Road, Palm Bay Road, major thoroughfares but we can't find any alternatives to get around this gridlock, basically, because you're looking at Babcock Road has been, I know that Mike Hammer, one of the councilmen, Mike Hammer and Mike Jaffe went to a county meeting I think it was with FDOT really. Mm-hmm. They were looking, when are you guys going to fix Babcock? Because that's part of the state's responsibility.
Yeah.
So they're trying to get money. It's not like they're not working to do it. You know, they're there trying to make it happen. They're trying to hold their feet to the fire and say, this has been on your docket for a while. What is happening?
The problem is that the development is outrunning the infrastructure and the age of the infrastructure.
Yes.
And so even if they started today, they're still running from behind.
They're so behind.
Are there any plans to?
There's a lot of planning going on. There's a lot of talking going on, but there's not a lot of action happening.
What's stopping the action?
I have no idea. I'm trying to figure out why aren't you doing something? Because I know that they're putting in underground electric all over the city.
Which is great during hurricanes.
Great stuff. It's great stuff there. But they want the citizens to pay to replace their septic tanks and tap into the city sewer and water. But the city sewer and water isn't up to standard. So you can't have when I got here 10 years ago, they wanted me to pay $8,000 to have some guy take their little water stick and, with a paint and say, this is where you need to hook into the city sewer. I'm like, Well, when are y'all coming out? Oh, no, no, you got to hire your own plumber.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
This is spending
Yeah.
proposition to be able to even make that connection. You're
Oh,
talking thousands
no,
of
I paid
dollars.
him $8,000 just
Yeah.
then I had to pay a plumber to do all that work.
So
And I'm
what
like,
can
wait, I
citizens,
didn't get that when I bought my house.
where can the citizens of Palm Bay find out more about that issue?
They can go to the website, the Palm Bay website, and do a public records request to find out, where's the action happening. I would say write every single councilman, talk to the city attorney, run a public records request through the clerk. I think citizens really, really, really need to get involved and say something to their council.
And to that end, you have a forum coming up this Tuesday at the 18th
Yeah, this
at
Tuesday.
Victory.
Victory in Christ Jesus Ministries Church on 2865 Jupiter Road.
And that's going to involve the candidates for District 19.
Florida
For the
Senate,
Senate.
District 19, yes.
So you're going to have Marcia Atkins, Mark Leitner, Tim Thomas.
Yes.
And Debbie Mayfield is not going to be able to make it because she's in session.
Right, and she
But
was
she would-
saying that she might be able to get us a video so that she could, tell everybody what's happening
There's
from
going
her
to be a
point of view.
representative of hers.
There will be a representative in the room, but they're not going to be speaking for her. That didn't work out well last year when I did forums, because they can't really answer the questions for the candidates.
But you're finding out, particularly in Palm Bay, that not having the right people in office is a huge thing. And
It
so,
is a huge thing.
what is that Obama said back a few years ago? Elections have
Yes,
consequences.
they do.
And so you see it. The next thing is the city manager. So you guys down in Palm Bay is looking for a city manager. A lot of applicants, 114 applicants. for this
114
job.
applicants, and then they hired some people from the two retired public servants that helped them work through all of their requirements. So Thomas Guam.
What were they
of the-
looking for as far as the requirements are concerned?
Where they want somebody outside of the county. They didn't want, someone else that was just. They wanted
Part
more
of the
experience.
system.
Yeah,
They
part
want
of the
somebody
system.
outside of the system.
They wanted to bring new blood in
Well, that's a
and
good
things like
sign.
that. Yeah, hopefully that's going to way. Thomas Guam has done that through the Palm Bayer. If you want to get more information on detailed stuff, the Palm Bayer, he is
does
awesome.
great work.
He is great
He
work.
does a great work
Great
with
work.
this. And so he actually listed what he thought was his top 5.
He's got top 5 of the candidates. Right now, we have approximately 16 really qualified people. We have moderately qualified 16 people, and the rest are less qualified, kind of didn't follow the qualifications, and that would have been 81 of them. So they've really kind of narrowed it down to about 32 people. And then they're going to have a meeting on March 20th. It'll be a public meeting, so you can come, speak, and talk. Well, I shouldn't say that. If it's a special meeting, I'm not sure if the public can speak, but definitely send in your questions to all of your councilmen. And then the 29th will be another public interviews. They're going to narrow it
finalists are
down.
going to be there, right?
Yeah, the finalists
Okay.
are going to be
Right.
there on the 29th for public interviews, and then on April 17th is when they're going to, after they vet their selected candidate, have a public offer.
Okay, so would the public be given information about who the finalists are before this meeting occurs on the 29th?
I'm hoping.
Okay,
I'm
so
hoping
they
that
will be able to actually
publicizing
speak on
it.
this.
Yeah,
Okay.
because they're having these meetings in between, so the public will be able to be informed.
Okay, Ruth, thank you. Anything else coming up in Palm Bay on the docket in the future? that
I
jumps out
just
at you?
think that the citizens really need to stay engaged on everything that's happening in Palm Bay. If you want change, then you need to say so.
Now, at
You
your
really need to be
forum,
there.
will they be able to quiz the candidates or the candidates?
Yes,
just gonna-
you at the forum, the only requirement for the candidates is that you only get to talk about yourself. You don't get to talk about your candidate or your opponent, because we only want to hear what you're going to do. We don't want to hear your opinion on the other candidates in your race, because they're going to have their opportunity to speak. So let's just talk about you. And then all the citizens will be able to ask you questions for we're going to have about 15 minutes each that they're going to be able to talk and ask
Right.
questions.
And that's a great opportunity for you to get to know your candidates And again, this forum is coming up March 18th at 7 p.m. at Victory in Christ Jesus Ministry at 2865 Jupiter. And you want to make sure that you're there. Great opportunity to get some insight into what these candidates believe. And believe you me, today you really need to do that. Ruth, thanks for being with us on our Palm Bay Report. We'll see you the next time on the Palm Bay Report. Thank you, Ruth Caulfield, the Brevard News Palm Bay correspondent. My name is Kevin Jeffrey. We'll see you next time.